welcome to Claire Cossey. Is it Cossey? Cozy?
Yeah.
Is it Cossey? Okay. Welcome to Claire Cossey, and she is from Just Knock Estate Agents near Milton Keynes. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. Busy. Same as everyone at the moment.
Good. Well, we've just been talking about the craziness in the market at the moment, but you began to tell me about your story. Now, the reason you and I are talking today is because I was tagged in a post, I don't know, by some kind soul, I don't know by who, can't remember, forgive me, but they said, you need to check out this and you need to talk to this person. Now, what was unique about this post, Claire, and anybody that knows you will now know what makes you so unique as an agent, was that you were singing the video tour to a property in full theatrical style. Perfect. I don't know if you were lip syncing, but it was perfect. But obviously, great voice, music and lyrics. Lyrics are your own. The music's probably stolen. I get that. But it's a wonderfully brave thing to do. And when it comes to marketing in our industry, it comes in one size normally, which is just what everybody else is doing. And then those of us that try and find a voice, but my word, did you find a voice? So I understand your route into estate agency's not been traditional or easy. So tell me about it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I am a little bit on the different side. So that we call ourselves born out of a pandemic. So with our discussion a little bit earlier, we started March last year. My partner is a professional captain for EasyJet, so he flies all over the country, and I am a professional singer by trade. And what that means is I'm actually touring theatres. I go all over the world. I've been to South Korea, I've been to Russia. There isn't many places I haven't been, actually. And then last year in March, we were basically told, sorry, the government aren't going to help you. They're not going to help you be supported. You're basically out of a job. So I went from having everything at my fingertips to absolutely nothing. I was actually a part-time estate agent. So I was working for the last 5 years for an independent locally to me. And it was a case of my partner was about to look like he was going to be made redundant, which was going to get even worse for us. And we just thought, should we try and do an estate agency? We didn't have an idea just how much we were getting into before this point, I have to say. We didn't look into it huge amounts in how much it was going to cost us. So that was the biggest thing. However, because I am really quite well known for my singing and got very, very close into the local community, we did pick up a few properties quite quickly. And we had this particular one called Wing Road that we were just struggling to sell. And I knew that, you know, you list it on Rightmove, you can put it on Zoopla, on all those lovely ones. You can talk to the cows come home, to every person you've got on your database. But nothing was standing out. So my partner's used to me. He's used to my craziness. And I just said, I'm going to write a song about it. And he just looked at me and he just face palmed. He just went, oh, okay, just do what you need to do. So I took The Winner Takes It All. I rewrote the lyrics as if I was describing a property. I pre-recorded it, and then we videoed it as if it was a video viewing within the property itself. And that was our first attempt. And we got 15,000 organic views in less than a week.
Without spending a penny on it, except for time and skill.
Absolutely. And it cost us nothing because we've got the recording studio upstairs. I've got basic software that I can use to do the videos. So yeah, put it all together myself, and there we go. From that, it actually gave us, we got 2 offers on the property. Unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, they weren't able to find, and it broke free, but we did manage to sell it at the time due to the video. We've since done a couple more since then, but what they've also brought in is we are getting noticed. We're getting noticed in the local area. Got our own hashtag of Singing Estate Agent, of which people are actually starting to use it now, which is even more exciting. And I don't think I'm going to stop it. I think it's something that I think we're going to be doing for a long time.
I'm going to guess that your competition would love you. I mean, they probably say she's got too much time on her hands and how unprofessional and how could they do this, and that's ridiculous, that's not what but I think secretly they're probably hoping, wishing and praying that you'll stop doing this, because I think once you find a route to be different, and you can have fun with it, and let's face it, 15, how many views did you say? Was it 15,000 views?
15,000 organic.
15,000 organic views, let me tell you, is nothing to be sniffed at. I'd take 15,000 views right now on any of my content. And I think that's superb. And if there are not many things that you can do that haven't been done before in our industry sometimes. And therefore, the things we're having to do to get attention are becoming a little bit more, quote unquote, crazy, if you like. And so these crazy ideas actually turn out to be really, really good. And now you are, I would wager, the only singing estate agent in the world, possibly, but definitely in England.
I know 100% it's England. I was wondering if there was maybe someone out there in America that might have done it, but no, I haven't found anyone yet.
Well,
I've actually been approached by a lot of other estate agents asking if I'd possibly do it for them in different areas. But in my local area, they actually have started going up to my vendors that are there saying, oh, you've got that singing estate agent. It doesn't work though, does it? And they said, well, it does because we sold. And so it was much more interesting and fun. Why wouldn't we?
And for every person that looks at it and says it doesn't work, it means that that's another person being reached that knows that house is for sale and is on the market. So really, there can be no doesn't work about it. Your job principally as an agent, I suppose, is to market that property, and all that means is getting it in front of as many potential buyers as possible. And here is a message for the buying public. Some of you don't even know your potential buyers, but you will be. And that's it. It happens every day, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You just don't know. What's nice about it is people are not necessarily wanting to sell or buy their property at that point. However, they might show it to a friend, family, neighbour and say how good the video is, and actually show it to someone who goes, oh, hang on a second, I like that house. Where's that? That's what happened with the first one we did. They showed it to a friend who went, well, actually, that's a really nice house. Where is it?
Yeah.
And that's how we got the viewings.
Fantastic.
As an agent, and I think this is the bit that the agents out there aren't going to be as keen on me as much, is it does drive quite a few valuations our way.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, the pain of that. Well, that's amazing. I mean, anything I think that gives you a USP that allows you to stand out. And what I love about this is it's almost uncopyable. And what I mean by that is no one else is going to have the guts to do what you've done. Because let's face it, any of us that have done video content, and I've done crazy stuff like I do bagel reviews of local businesses and stuff, and I've heard people tell me that, you know, they think I'm crazy for doing it and I'm just after attention or whatever it is. But the phone has rung and valuations have been booked off the back of that. And the point is this: I don't need to worry going to bed at night because nobody's got the guts to do that. And sometimes you have to take that first step, and nobody's going to. Well, there are very few professionally trained singers out there. So I suppose. So hang on. So you do the singing. Is your husband also part of this team as well? Because he was the pilot, right?
It's myself and my partner Tony. We started Just Knock Up last year, like I said, because of our working relationships as such. He's kind of on training to do the estate agent stuff, but as you know, it is a million of lots of little tiny bits here and there. There's no one big part of the job. There isn't. There's just too many bits that go with it.
I've got a training solution for him that will help. I'll tell you about that later. I'll send that across in the.
I mean, he's getting on board, and when we take on properties, it will be myself does the photos, he does the floor plans.
Yeah.
I do the write-ups, and then the video, he will do the standard videos. When it comes to doing these musical ones, which I have to say, they're not for everyone. We offer free of charge. We don't even charge for it.
Yeah.
We do a bit of fun for them. And not everyone wants them. People who do want them, we get them done. And out of that, when we're doing that, he films me doing the recording, and I have to effectively direct him and guide where we're going. And normally, I don't know until I'm there what we're doing.
Got a great idea for Tony, though. I mean, you've got your singing thing. He
He
could
wants
do
to
it.
be. He wants to do the pilot.
He could do his pilot thing. This is today we'll be flying a lovely 3-bed semi over Milton Keynes. If you look out of your left window, you'll see that we're only 2 minutes from the park. Out of the right window, the local school is down the road.
Oh my God, I just had an
This,
idea.
well, there you go. You can have that for free.
I
That's
want
yours.
you.
but I think what we've learned from this very small session we've just had is that everybody has to play to their skill set, what I love about a state agency is there is no one way to do it. I know there's a lot of people that think they've got the only way to do it right, but I think what you can do is you can import skills from other very varied industries and bring it into this and make it your own. And if you can continue to get eyes on properties and grab people's attentions, it's going to lead to valuations. It's going to lead to happy clients because you'll be selling their properties, and you'll be filling the world of YouTube with lots of singing videos. They're amazing. They really are, because and encourage, there's going to be a link to this at the bottom of this interview, and encourage anybody that hasn't seen it to check it out. It is absolutely superb. So talk to me about starting a business from a cold start at the beginning of a pandemic. What kind of thought process goes through your head? Did you have any inkling that the market was going to be the way that it was? Did you have any idea?
Yeah, because I'd already been, like I said, I was in the business already, but my predominance was that I was a singer. So it was a case of I just flipped them. But I noticed very, very quickly, and it was almost like we were jumping on the bandwagon, because you can tell by the fact we started in August. We knew June was when they announced the stamp duty release, and it just coincidentally, the market went crazy. You and I have spoken about this. There's very grey areas. Is it all about stamp duty? No, it isn't. But we did want to make sure we were in the best situation possible. So it was actually the reason. It was what was going to happen, because between March and August, we were like, what to do? What are we going to do? Yeah. And it was this, right, so 5 weeks before the August, we went, we're going to start this. We're going to try it. We're going to try our best. We'll see it. If it doesn't work, we have got these careers we can go back to when things come up. But,
and are you sales and lettings, or just sales? What's your focus?
We are sales and lettings, but I'd say we're predominantly sales. That was my side of it. But I can do lettings. But I'll be honest with you, we haven't got the staffing for it. It's just the two of us, and there's a whole can of worms comes out when it comes to landlords and lettings and stuff like that.
I've got a few solutions that may help with that. Sorry, but one of the perks of doing this job is that I learn the amazing solutions that are out there, and I think to myself, if I had some of this tech, some of the tech, and this goes for all tech, some of it is useless and doesn't have value. And that goes in every industry the same way. In our industry, that used to be predominantly the case. It has changed a lot over the past 5 years. But today, I look at some of the solutions that are available to an agent, and I literally, I think actually you don't need then 3 other people to do these jobs. Sometimes these things, there are massive efficiencies to be gained from tech. So it's a very interesting part of what I get to have a look at. But tell me, Claire, now that you're in it, obviously we're about a year in almost. We're coming up to, in August, it'll be a year.
In August, yeah.
And so are you in it now for the long run, or are you still looking for...
The great thing that worked with the estate agency, and it's so nice to say this, is estate agency and singing actually go hand in hand. When we're looking at a normal market, and when I say that, I don't mean a pandemic, because you and I both know this is the strangest market. 1 minute,
completely, 100%.
Nuts out there, and then the government release another date, and say, for example, the 12th of April, and there wasn't a single viewing and a single anything, because everyone's going, Primark's open, oh my God. So we were losing everyone. It just dips for temporarily 2 days, go and get my hair done, go and do this, and then it just goes mad again. So it's not normal. But when it is normal, as the natural troughs happen with the singing, the peaks happen in the estate agency, and vice versa. So, for example, in December, we all know as estate agents, the only thing you're really doing is sales progression and sending out Christmas cards, because not too many things come up. Now, in December in the music industry,
it's Panto season.
No, it's Christmas time.
Oh, sorry. I get all excited for Panto season. I've got to tell you, there is inside of me, there is a widow Twanky trying to get out.
I got a solution for you.
I bet you have. That's brilliant. So December, you've got all that kind of carol singing and stuff, and Christmas concerts and all that.
Yeah, Christmas parties and shows and all sorts of stuff like that. So I could literally work every single night.
And what's your genre of music? What's your kind of thing?
Got a couple. I mean, to be fair, function band stuff I can do, but I was in ABBA Mania and the ABBA Reunion for quite some time, just the big theatre shows. But I actually also run my own group called the Memphis Bells, which is 40s, 50s swing music.
Oh, cool. So like
the Andrew Sisters.
Yes, that's well, do you know Louise Moss from SDL Auctions?
That name rings a bell, and so I think someone else was asking me to talk to her as well.
I'm going to get you in touch with Louise, because she sings as a trio, I think, in one of these sort of 40s, 50s type swing things. I think you'd be perfect together. That's really cool. I mean, it genuinely, it's always nice to find people that have sort of interests outside of work, but it's rare to find people that had work outside of, that is their passion, and then they made that into a state agency, and that is really cool. So
thank you.
So when you go into a house and you're pitching for the business and you're going through all the normal things, this is where we'll advertise you, this is what we do, this is how we add value, this is what we charge, etc., etc. At what point do you throw in, and by the way, you may not know, but I'm the singing estate agent?
I suppose when I start saying to them, I'll do a social media video for them, and then I say, and you understand, I'll say, do you understand about organic hits and going viral? And if they say, God, yeah, I understand, or if they say no, then I explain it to them. But long story short, at that point, I'll actually say, do you know about this? And they say, yeah. I say, well, I do something a little different. I'm going to show you. So I don't even explain it.
You sing it?
I press play on the
right.
The many videos I've got, I just show them, and I think it's so much better because they look and go, that's fantastic, I love it, I think it's brilliant. And I say, well, would you like me to do one for yours? And they'll either go, oh no, it's not my thing, or they'll go on, do it, why not?
So those people that sort of say, oh no, that's not my thing, even though they don't have to appear on the video, do you think it sort of makes them cringe, or they're embarrassed, or what do you think it is that stops them from kind of going for it?
A lot of the ones that say, oh no, it's almost like they are embarrassed or shy. So it's more, they don't want to ask for it because it's not the norm, it's not your typical standard stuff. But to be fair, I'm not fussed either way. People want it or they don't, and I don't take offense to it, really don't. Some people love it, some people hate it.
And the buyers, I mean, clearly they must rock up to see a house with you and they go, we know who you are, we've seen you on the video.
Absolutely. I've had that a number of times going, oh, you're that singing estate agent. I've gone, yes, I am. Sometimes I've been caught off guard because I'm at a property that doesn't have a video, but they've seen one that does, and they've gone, oh, you're that singing estate agent, why didn't you do it for this property? I'm like, oh, awkward, they didn't want it. So I can't really do much about that though.
And so obviously you found a way to balance singing with a state agency, and we've talked about obviously how that kind of calendar wise is going to work together. You can still do your singing thing, you can still be an estate agent. Being an estate agent is not everybody's idea of fun in terms of sort of earning a living, but obviously you've now chosen this as a career, and it was born out of necessity, but you've decided this is the future for you. What about a state agency do you love? Like, what gives you that buzz?
There is a lot to it. I mean, in fact, people say it's about winning the instructions. For me, it's not. I absolutely love and enjoy meeting new people, meeting new buyers, and finding out people's different stories and different walks of life. And then the best feeling in the world, and it's not even financial, is that feeling of finding a buyer that is in love with a property and we can get them married up together. That to me makes me just feel very excited. I just like, oh, I've done it. I'm really pleased. And that's the bit I enjoy the most. Really do. Just love it.
And do you find that, I mean, you actually heard me on a phone call
Yes.
earlier. I very rudely kept you waiting, but obviously I was dealing with a very heated buyer situation there. And sometimes this can get extremely fraught, and sometimes we don't get to see the best of people all the time. How do you explain that to somebody like, you know, your partner, for instance, who's used to sitting in a cockpit away from all the people that complain? He's got a cabin crew that deal with that for him, and all of a sudden he's going to be front and center in front of a sometimes unforgiving public.
Most of the time it's absolutely fine. There's been a couple of occasions where he's learnt the hard way. For example, we've lost an instruction mainly, and he's gone, but I don't understand, why have we lost it? And it's because their granddads recommended them to someone else, and it's like, well,
Yeah,
the granddad's going to bring hands on, and he doesn't understand how much emotion is in something so strongly financial. But that's the thing
yeah,
you've got to get across, is there's so much emotion running high 24/7.
yeah.
Just have to ignore half of it.
There are so many, you know, when you turn around to a vendor and you'll say, okay, what are you trying to achieve here? And
Yeah.
they'll normally say, I want the highest price, or I want to sell it within X amount of time, whatever it may be. They'll never truly say, well, okay, look, once we've sold this house, part of that money is going to pay off all these debts that I've got. And my kids want to buy a house, so 10 grand of that is going to them for their deposit. And people there's the stories behind the money that we deal with, and it's huge amounts, normally probably the biggest transactions that anybody will ever do in their average lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still to this day surprised. I mean, you've been in it far longer than I have, but I can still say I'm very, very surprised that somebody would lose out on a sale for the sake of about £500.
Yeah,
And I've
because
seen it so many times.
sometimes it's lovely. I've got this thing that you know, when people tell you it's not about the money, normally what they're saying is it's all about the money.
Hmm.
And I'm not one of these people just to stand on principle. Yes, you are. And there are, you know, there are those people that will find a way to sometimes disrupt the sale, and there's nothing you could do to talk them around. You know that it would make absolute sense for them to carry on with it. Um, have you ever contemplated sort of singing them a lullaby, calming them down during the sales process?
I have a feeling that it might rile them up even more if I started singing down the phone to them. I look at them, and you've got to think that the entertainment industry that I was in is very heavily fueled by alcohol. And what does alcohol do to people's inhibitions?
Well, I think we're seeing that now, aren't we? Everybody's stuck in a beer garden somewhere.
Oh, I wish it was me, but there we go. They lose their inhibitions, they lose a sense of reality, they lose their rationale. So I'm used to dealing with people like this on an hourly, daily basis anyway.
That's interesting. So basically, this is like the equivalent of a stand-up comedian dealing with hecklers.
Yeah.
Working in the entertainment industry in one form or another, you're dealing with inebriated people who sometimes forget their politeness.
Absolutely, and you've got to think that is very similar to a buyer that has been told that he could exchange this week. Actually, it's going to be next week. They forget that they're talking to somebody that's another human being, and they go nuts and get angry. And it's like in your head, you're going, "Okay, I get your point," but you just have to deal with them the same you would with the, you know, like I said, the guy at the front of the thing shouting and screaming at you. You just do the same thing. You go, okay, just listen, wait, let them get it out, let them calm down, and then you carry on talking rationally.
Yeah, it becomes like that, doesn't it? You know that you need to. It's like music in that respect. You need to wait till you're ready to come in with the chorus a little bit later. Sometimes it needs that break to build up again and get people thinking straight. Fascinating. So what's next? You're a new business. You found yourself in a thriving market. We're faced with lots of things like stock shortages and different challenges in terms of buyer expectations. it might not be like this forever,
No.
and it might not be our idea of fun forever, but what's next for you?
I'm going to dream big. We're going to have a Just Knox singing estate agent in every town in the UK. There you go.
I think that could spread. So when you put out your advert looking for people, you're not necessarily looking for people that are just passionate about property. You need people that are passionate for music.
Yeah. To be fair, when I started doing this, I actually thought it's not. I'm not about the only person who can sing. The amount of people that said, "I sing and I would do this. Would you help me? Would you guide me through it?" Absolutely. But you're going to do it under Just Knox name.
Okay, the Just Knox franchise was just born about a minute ago. All of you can jump on it. I'm not taking any cut out of this, but I think if I could charge you with one thing, I think this year we do need an estate agency industry pantomime. So, yeah, I'm gonna let you put that together. You can orchestrate it. As long as I get to play Widow Twankey, I'm
Fine.
happy.
Absolutely. We could do this.
Fine.
Absolutely. We could do this. But who's the villain going to be? That's the dodgy one.
Oh, there are a lot of pantomime villains in our industry. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and work out who some of these trolls are from Property Industry Eye articles and Facebook groups, and then we'll try and work out who they are, and we'll invite them down for an audition.
Absolutely, need a villain. If they don't turn up, then they're perfect. There you go.
Well, this industry can attract some grumpy gits. So you must have had feedback from other agents. Not all of it, love. Have you had any sort of negative feedback about your singing?
Not to my face.
Not to your face.
No, in fact, everywhere I have put it, I have had nothing but positivity. Everybody. Now, like I said to you, the only thing I've had is somebody going to my vendor saying, "Well, it doesn't work because it's just a bit of fun." And I just thought, well, it's the best bit of fun they've seen. But I haven't had anyone that said that they don't like it yet.
Well, that's great. Long may that continue. And I think it's absolutely amazing, and it's a lesson to all of us, because sometimes, as an agent, you get to that point where you think, "I've tried everything." You ain't tried it all yet.
You haven't tried singing.
Brilliant. Well, Claire, let's play a little game. Sometimes we like to play called Agree or Disagree. Okay. It's where I give you a statement about the property industry, and you tell me if you agree or disagree and why.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Claire Cossey from Just Knock Estate Agents. Agree or disagree? But estate agency marketing doesn't have to be boring.
Oh, totally agree. It doesn't need to be boring at all. Why does it have to be the same as everybody else?
We don't need to conform.
No, absolutely not. No, this industry is one that's still growing, and it will change with us.
There we go. Now, cue clip of Claire singing. That's going to come in right now. And that's how we end this segment. That's perfect. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? In a estate agency, the customer is always right.
I would have to disagree. The customer isn't always right. However, you can't tell them to their face that they're not necessarily right. You just have to guide them and make them understand that they're incorrect in the first place.
That's pretty comprehensive. That'll do me. It's true. It's a fine line, isn't it, though, when you're communicating with people. A lot of what we do is management of their expectations. And
absolutely that. Yeah, you've got to make sure that some of them, and you'll be the same as them. Some people, you have to hold their hand through the entire process. Others will literally throw their keys of their house at you and say, "Sell my house. Don't need to hear from you. Just go away." So it's just madness. And when it comes to agreeing and disagreeing, you'll get very, very opinionated people. You may know that it's incorrect, and you just have to say, I appreciate where you're coming from. However, and you have to bring something in and just make them aware that they're incorrect, really, in the nice way.
Agree or disagree, but the only reason the market's on fire right now in May of 2021 is because of the stamp duty.
Totally disagree. Absolutely 100% disagree, to the point of, I'd say, about 10 to 15% of sales are purely to do with stamp duty. Now, that is not much in the grand scheme of things in how busy we have actually been. When you think that we've had, what did they say? It was about a 90% increase into last year, or no, the year before. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, just off the charts, isn't it? Yeah.
We can't even keep up with it. It's that crazy. Every buyer and every seller that I meet, it will either be they're getting married, getting divorced, having more children, either got a better job, managed to save up lots more money, or the unfortunate inevitable, which is they've lost a job and they have to sell. It's a small handful of people even mention the stamp duty, let alone tie it into the contract of I'm not buying unless it finishes then. So no, totally disagree.
And just like your business, it's born out of that COVID environment, isn't it? Where people were locked in, and you've opened the floodgates, you've let them out.
Yeah, it's amazing, but we're all wide open, wide-eyed, wide open. This is not a market that's going to stay around forever, but at the same time, it's not going to fall off a cliff. I think with the sheer volume of buyers that we've got out there, to the sheer lack of sellers we've got out there, I don't think that we have got the ability for it to just cliff drop in the next 2 months, 3 months' time.
What I loved about one of your responses earlier was you were talking about people having their hair done. But the truth is, sometimes when the market dips and there aren't people bringing properties to the market, we've got to appreciate that from an estate agent's point of view, we're guilty of assuming that everybody only thinks about selling their houses all the time. But in actual fact, they're worried about getting their roots done. Somebody needs their nails done. Somebody's not been for a haircut. I mean, this is getting sorted out. So you know, people are getting back to really sort of clearing a backlog of grooming responsibilities that they had to do during lockdown.
It's true though. Every single roadmap date that's come up, we've all seen it. If it was around a Monday, Tuesday, there'd be nothing happening. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The big one was when they literally lifted the lockdown and we could go and stand in our parents' garden for a few hours. Now, what I noticed is that entire week there was very few people viewing, and there was nothing at the weekend, which is so unusual for a weekend.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, something's gone wrong. And being quite new myself, I've got nothing to compare it to. So for me, I've gone, what is it? And it wasn't until I've gone the next day, it's gone nuts again. Like a couple of days later, it's just gone crazy again. I've gone, I wonder if it's something to do with this roadmap. And it wasn't until the 12th of April I went, it's the roadmap.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
We've got the next one, which is 17th of May, and that's going to do the same again.
Well, we'll see what comes next. It's hard to predict exactly what's going to happen next, and you know what makes it so difficult? It's hard to predict where we're going to be. It's probably easy to predict where we'll be in 3 weeks' time, but it's hard to predict where we'll be in 3 months. It's anybody's guess at this stage.
No one knows.
Okay, Claire, agree or disagree? If you've got nothing nice to say about a property, sing it.
Sing it?
Yeah.
That's difficult. I'll say disagree, because if I've got nothing nice to say about a property, I'll find something nice to say about it.
So I'm very much like that as well. I've handled some properties that are absolutely, I couldn't describe them as beautiful. They have inner beauty that just needs to be realized by somebody else. But I've handled some properties over the years, let me tell you, shockers. But there is no such thing as unsaleable property, is there? There's no such thing as something you can't find a positive in.
No, absolutely. You will always find a positive, even if it's not the condition of the property. It might be a location, it might be size, it might be rental abilities, it might be investment opportunities. You'll always find something that will tick a box of some sort. So no, I don't agree to that. You can't, you'll always find something.
Cool. Okay. In the grand movie of your life, there's going to be a movie about you because you're unique. There's only one singing. They did one about a singing detective. He wasn't even a singer, but you're a singer and you're a singing estate agent. They're going to make a movie about it. Who plays you in the movie?
Do you remember the star Jodie Comer that was in Killing Eve?
Yes, I'm going to say yes for the purposes of this video. Yes.
A wonderfully crazy woman who is she's a Liverpudlian, but her accents that she can do are just phenomenal. So I'd say her. She's just awesome. She's a little bit wacky, you see.
Do we know if she's a singer, or are you're gonna have to sing it in the studio? She'll have to lip sync.
All right, I don't mind doing that.
You don't mind doing that? Okay, that's cool. You've very kindly given me an hour of your time. If you could have an hour of anybody's time, either in the industry or out of the industry, alive or dead, anybody you could choose from, who would you spend an hour with?
Marilyn Monroe. Who wouldn't?
Oh, wow. Okay, we've not had that one yet. She's yours. Congratulations.
Thank you. She is a woman after my own heart. She is, she was absolutely phenomenal. She was an average singer that actually had so much drive and passion about her that she succeeded. She shouldn't have actually done as well as she did based on the fact that she was a standard size 14 to 16 for a woman. Now, in these days, that wouldn't have gone anywhere. But for her, she made herself world famous.
She was ahead of her time, really, wasn't she, in terms of starlets back then? And when you compare some of the, you might be forgiven for thinking that Marilyn Monroe wasn't the most talented of people in the world, because she had a very, but that was the way that they made her seem. She was kind of almost like a bimbo at some point. That's how they painted her to be. She wasn't anything near to that at all in reality. But today, if you see some of the things that pass as talent, it eclipses that, doesn't it?
She was amazing, and it's just the fact that she like you say, she looked. They made her out that she wasn't overly talented. She was one of the most talented people that I think was ever around, ever. She was just phenomenal.
Well, she was married at some point to Arthur Miller, the playwright, right? I mean, probably one of the most intelligent people in that part of the...
That was a bimbo, would he?
No, I don't think he could. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's possible. So I'm going to take that. That's awesome. I just want to thank you very, very much for giving us your time. I was intrigued as soon as somebody tagged me in that post and I saw you singing. I thought, well, even if it's boring, I'm going to at least spend 5 minutes with this person. But I have to tell you, I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I wish you every success, because my honest wish, if I could give one gift to this industry, it's to release people from having to fit into little boxes where we all do things the same. And if you can do things differently, amazing.
Thank you.
Perfect.
It's been really enjoyable. And I have to say, you've just popped my podcast cherry. I've never done one before.
Oh, really? Well, welcome. This is what we call this is actually starting at the top. Anywhere you go from here, right, is just a downwards move. Okay, so you've really this is your debut. This is, if you were singing, this is like your Albert Hall.
Oh, okay. So I've burnt out early then, have I?
It doesn't get much better than this. Wembley Stadium's just like a bit cheap compared to this. Okay. No, actually, this is probably one of the more gentler entries into the podcast arena, and there are lots and lots of other property podcasts out there. And now that they've seen you on this, they'll all be clamoring to book your time. Can I force a couple of notes out of you before we go? Because we need to hear some singing.
What do you want to hear, though?
I don't know. Sing me a song about me.
I can't make them up like that.
I thought you just do them a cappella on the spot.
I'll do a little bit of ABBA just because it's in my head.
Okay, go for it.
You can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Ooh, see that girl, watch that scene, digging the dancing queen. There you go.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. Available for all your weddings, bar mitzvahs, anything else, christenings. You do them all, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Claire, good luck with it. I'm going to check back in with you in the future, and I hope to see a proliferation of singing estate agents all up and down the country.
That would be amazing. Get out there. Anyone that wants any advice on it, they can come to me.
Take care. Thank you
so much.